Hello everyone, and welcome to the ISCD presentation for. It's lovely to see you, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your lunch break to come join us and learn about what we do. Um, it's lovely to see you here, and yeah, just grab a cuppa, grab your lunch, get yourself comfortable. We're just going to wait until a couple more people come online. In the meantime, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. I'm from Sydney. If you could just pop in the chat there, it should be at the bottom in the middle there or to the right where you're tuning in from, which city. We have people from all around Australia joining us usually, so I'd love to see what the crowd is like today. So we've got Queensland, Yeppoon. Okay, great. From Adelaide, Queensland. Great. Keep them coming, guys. Pop your where you're tuning in from. And if you could just choose everyone, that'd be awesome. Go to Canberra as well. Sydney Siders. Shepparton. Cool. Central Coast. I love the Central Coast. Awesome. All right, got Melbourneers. Adelaide as well. We've got a few people everywhere. Nice. Alrighty. Alrighty, guys. Thanks so much for that. So let's make a start. My name's Charlotte, and I'm an enrollment advisor here at ISCD. I've got a couple of people I'd like to introduce you to. First and foremost, we've got a special guest here today, Stephanie Chu, who is an ISCD graduate and also has her own interior design business. So we'll get her on the camera. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Charlotte. Thanks for the opportunity. Looking forward to sharing with you very soon, guys.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. And we also have Lee on today. She's doing our live chat, answering all your interesting questions. So hi, Lee.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us and, sharing your lunch break with us. Yeah, should I go into housekeeping, Charlotte, just on the live chat stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so guys, it looks like you've all managed to find where the chat is, which is great. We invite you to put any questions you have for Stephanie or us about the courses into the live chat. No question is too short, too long, too silly, whatever. Put it in there. This is what you're here for. So we're going to try and answer all of those within the hour. Please toggle where it says to say everyone, not hosts and panelists. That way we won't double up on any questions. All of the questions that you put into the live chat, I'll be keeping those for the end, where we'll open up a conversation with Stephanie and we'll get all of your questions answered. Thank you for joining us, and I'm going to disappear off into Cyberland now and leave Charlotte, to her presentation. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Lee. See you soon. All righty, beautiful. So to start, in the spirit of reconciliation, ISCD acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to the elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So today, this is what you can expect to hear and watch is, first of all, I'll give you a brief overview of what ICD is and our industry connections, and then I'll deep dive into the courses that we offer, including the job outcomes. After that, I'll talk about the software that we teach, and then I'll invite Stephanie back on to talk about her interior design journey, starting from when she started at ICD, working as an interior designer, to now, really, having her own business. Lastly, we'll have a Q&A, and this is the chance for you to ask any question you like. So just keep the questions coming and Lee will collect them at the end. All right, so ISCD has been around for about 41 years. So since 1983, we've helped over 5,700 alumni to realize their creative potential and become part of this growing industry. Here at ISCD, we are dedicated to delivering quality training and an authentic online experience to help you achieve your goals. And we do have a lot of industry connections through partners that we've collected over the last, say, 40 years. We've got about 20 industry partners in Sydney and Melbourne. And these partnerships allow our students to step into the design world, whether they be from an excursion that we had online or face-to-face, or a master talk with Dulux or Taubmans, or even a job placement. So one of these is Bauerberg Interiors. So we've got a special internship opportunity for our diploma students in Sydney, where you can work at Bauerberg Interiors after you graduate from the course, which is a 4 to 6 week stint. So Lee can pop some more information in the chat there about it. Other excursions have been to Decor and Design, Den Fair. We've had lots of people approach us to train their employees on colour and on styling as well. Now, onto our courses. So we have 3 nationally accredited courses that have been developed and designed for the interior designer. We've got the Diploma of Interior Design, Certificate 4 in Interior Decoration, and our micro credentials. And all of these are 100% online. They've been designed and developed with our creative partners, AIT, which stands for the Academy of Interactive Technology. So you can be confident that you'll complete the most relevant interior design course in Australia today. We offer highly specialized courses in interior design that are relevant to the industry and make you job ready. And if you're worried that you don't have any experience, don't worry. So most people have come from very different backgrounds, for example, law or marketing. So there's no experience necessary. Now, first and foremost, we've got our Diploma of Interior Design, which lasts 18 months from the beginning of the course there. And what you learn in this course is not only styling and decoration, but also about how to remodel a home, how to renovate a kitchen or a bathroom. You learn about restoration and the history, and also a little bit on commercial interiors. And over the 18 months, we'll take you through 8 different subjects, which encapsulate all of this knowledge in a very easy self-paced course. You don't have to be online at a specific time. There are no set times you have to be attending classes and such. It's really easy. So as long as you spend about 12 to 15 hours a week on study, you'll get through all the course material. We've got a sophisticated online learning platform called Canvas, where you can access all the material. You can also access the discussion forums and assessment forums and interact with other students and teachers. The price for this course is $15,800, and that includes all the software. This is nationally accredited and also recognised, and there are flexible payment options as well. So our most popular is the VSL loan, which is similar to Fee Help or HEX, where you can pay for the course after you complete it and then pay it back once you have earned above a certain bracket. So we can send you some more information about that if you wish. To begin, you only have to be at least 17 years old with no experience necessary, and the entry requirements is to fill out a design ethos statement, which states your passion for interior design, what your favorite trend is, and also why you want to get into interior design. If you're applying for the VSL loan, we just require a couple more extra things like academic completion and photo ID as well. So here is the visual representation of the subjects that we have in the course. So you'll see there are 8 subjects altogether, and there are about 5 units per subject. Each subject lasts for 9 weeks, and there are 2 subjects per study block. So 18 weeks in the study block, and you've got 2-week break between each study block there as well. Now, each subject has 3 assessments, and that is in weeks 3, 6, and 9. And that might be, say, a mood board, a technical drawing, or a texture board. So, and that all culminates to your portfolio at the end of your course. So you will have accumulated a really great array of projects using the software that we teach you. So the first 2 subjects, I'll just mention that the first 2 subjects there, the design and color and design practice, those can be taken as a standalone subject. So if you're not sure if you want to commit to the full course, or if you want to use this more as a hobby, you could learn about design and color, which looks at colors for interiors and exteriors, or number 2, design practice. And this is how to set up an interior design business, talking all about ethics and compliance, and it's a really useful subject for a future job opportunity. So speaking of which, that's what a lot of graduates do when they finish the course. They end up opening up their own business, like Stephanie Chu as well. We had Kara from the block, and she opened up her own business with her partner, Kyle. We had Chantel Traficante, one of our graduates, opened up her own soft furnishing business called Benny Kesh Designs. and other people are working in related fields, whether it be for a supplier, a builder, a real estate firm. And you can watch some previous videos on our YouTube channel for some more ideas where people have ended up. A couple of job outcomes are listed here, so you can become an interior designer or decorator, soft furnishing consultant, or color consultant as well. Now, the Cert 4 in interior decoration is more about how to decorate a home, the aesthetics of the home, how to change the mood or embellish the home through color, through soft furnishings, window and wall treatments. This course is 9 months long and it's $7,900. The study commitment's the same as the diploma. We recommend about 12 to 16 hours that you can fit in anywhere along your work schedule. And the minimum age is 16 years old, and all you need is a design ethos statement to write up your passion for interior design. This course is 4 subjects in length. So over that 9-month period, we'll take you through the styling and decorating that's necessary for you to become an interior decorator or stylist. So there are 4 subjects there, as I mentioned, 9 weeks per subject, and you've got those 3 assessments per subject. And they're all task-based, so that's all about creating projects, and there are no real exams per se. So everything is sort of to build your portfolio. And as I mentioned before, we've got those 2 subjects there as micro-credentials, which I'll talk a little bit later on. In terms of job outcomes, again, you can have your own business, or you can become an interior decorator, real estate stylist, or residential stylist, a soft furnishing or design consultant, or a color consultant. Now, those micro-credentials I mentioned, those standalone courses rather, these are bite-sized chunks of what you can learn in the diploma or the Cert 4 course. So say you wanted to do this as a hobby, say if you don't want to commit to the full Cert 4 or diploma, or you're not sure, you could just dip your toe a little bit in one of those micro-credential courses, and they're fully accredited. So say you wanted to get into the Cert 4 or diploma, you could do that. It's a 9-week course and it's $1,990. And we might have some more micro-credentials coming, but those are the first 2 that we have available. There's no software included in that particular course if you do it standalone. So you'll need to just download InDesign and Photoshop as well to do the course. Alrighty, and now I'd like to just talk about the software that we use in the course. So throughout the Cert 4 course, we'll be teaching you InDesign and Photoshop, SketchUp, and Programmer. InDesign and Photoshop is great for presentations, such as for mood boards. SketchUp is a 3D rendering software, really great to show a 3D perspective of a home, much like a 3-dimensional dollhouse. And then Programmer is a great project management tool where you can put in all your specs and all your organize your projects really efficiently. In the diploma course, you learn all of those software programs plus AutoCAD, which is used for floor plans and elevations, and also V-Ray for SketchUp, which is an add-on to SketchUp for photo and lighting effects. The software is all included in the price, and actually Programmer is not really taught anywhere else that I know of, any other interior design school, and it's really something that a lot of interior designers use. So it's going to really equip you quite well for what's in the industry. Here are our lovely teachers who are here to support you. We have Gabby, who's our education manager, and she's really approachable with 20 years experience. All of our educators have their own businesses in the industry, and they have a real deep passion for design and a wealth of first-hand experience, and really a willingness to share and impart their knowledge. Their goal as your educators is to create an engaging and enriching study experience and give you all the tools necessary for you to succeed out in the design industry. They're there to support you throughout your student journey through discussion boards and assessment forums, and you can also reach out to them directly by phone or video chat. So speaking of businesses and experience, I'd now like to welcome Stephanie Chu, who's going to be sharing a bit about her journey while studying at ISCD, and also her journey now as an interior designer. Before she does her presentation, I'd love to just read a little bit about her with her bio. After a corporate career spanning over a decade in finance and communications, Stephanie followed her creative gifting, completing a diploma of interior design and decoration before establishing her own studio, Stephanie Chu Interiors. Stephanie is knowledgeable about and involved in every aspect of new builds and renovations, from plans to concept design, material selections, documentation, working with builders, architects and craftsmen, and overseeing the implementation of the design and furnishings. Having renovated multiple homes herself, Stephanie deeply respects and understands the emotional and financial investment that comes with renovating and decorating a home, and the enormous privilege it is to be involved in the journey. Hello, Stephanie. Thanks for coming back there. And hello, hello.
Sorry, yeah,
Can you hear me okay, Stephanie?
you just were a bit lagged.
Oh,
Hi,
sorry.
can you hear me now?
Oh, my apologies. Yes, I can hear you. That might be my fault. I'm sorry. So I'll pop off now and yeah, I'll leave it up to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Charlotte, for that lovely introduction. My name is Stephanie Chu. I'm the owner and founder of Stephanie Chu Interiors. It's a boutique interior design studio, and we do full end-to-end design. So that's design through to furnishings at the end. And I'm here today because I am a very proud graduate from ISCD. I graduated with a diploma of interior design in May of 2022. And I started my business in October of that year. And so, we're in October today, and I'm basically celebrating my 2-year milestone of setting up my business. And it was one of the best decisions that I made. Moving on to the next slide. So the 2 images on the left here, which you can see Fletcher Street, and the image on the previous slide are images of my family home that I recently renovated. And it's the home that I live in with my husband and my 8.5-year-old son today. And it's very sentimental to me, and it was really fundamental to the launch of my business. So I'll touch upon that later. And then the 2 images on the right are of my Milton Avenue project. And they were also fundamental to my business because they were my first fee-paying clients when I started my business. I guess these images also are a really accurate reflection of my more natural aesthetic. I design timeless and classic interiors that are also luxurious. And I really like to use materials that become the hero of the design. So moving on to the next slide. I guess I'm here today to share with you my journey into interior design. Everyone has a different journey, but I think I'm probably not alone in saying that interior design was not my first career. This is my second career, my second stage in life. Growing up, I was always naturally creative, but I never followed that as a path. I followed more of the conventional route when it came to school and university, and then into my corporate career, which spanned over a decade. I guess it took getting married and then buying our first family home and renovating that really sparked for the first time, I guess, that creative bent, but specifically in interiors. That was back in 2012. And then I guess also becoming a mum, I'm a mum, it changes your perspective on everything. And prior to COVID, I guess the corporate world didn't really support working from home as much as it does now. And so, I knew that it wouldn't be a really sustainable career for myself and raising a young family. On maternity leave, I decided that was my first kind of step into thinking about changing careers. I enrolled in ISCD on maternity leave. I don't know what I was thinking with a newborn baby and no sleep. But But I chose ISCD because I knew of quite a few designers that owned their own businesses that had graduated from this school. And that was primarily why I chose it, because I knew of these, that they had made great businesses and I respected them. And I thought, you know what, I want to go to the school that they attended. I did it for a year, went back to work, and I guess working full time and studying just didn't work. So I deferred my study at ISCD. But then in 2019, we sold that first family home. We did really well financially from it. And I guess that also gave me even more confidence that other people were buying into my design. And not only had I loved the experience of renovating, but I had a lot of buy-in from other people that gave me a bit more confidence. We bought a dilapidated terrace that needed a whole lot of love, care, and attention. And I guess that and the support of a really loving husband and a huge amount of faith was what tipped me over the edge. And I decided, you know what, I've only got one life to live. I'm going to give it my best shot. And so I quit my job. We bought this new rundown house and I re-enrolled in ISCD. I graduated in May 2022. We moved in a few months before that. And I can confidently say that studying at ISCD and renovating my home at the same time, it was a really formative time for me. I was learning things at ISCD, for example, learning how to draw things in 3D and SketchUp, how to do plans and elevations and electrical plans in AutoCAD, but directly in real time being able to implement that and really act, I guess, more professionally as an interior designer alongside my builder, the joiner, the architect. And so if you look behind me, I remember, drawing up my bookshelf behind me in SketchUp and then in AutoCAD and giving it to the joiner to quote on. It was just fantastic, the practice that I was getting in real time. And so that's how I got into interior design. And then how I got my first job was, how did I go? Basically what I did was I dropped my son at school one day and I picked up flowers from Coles, came back home and I cleaned my house and I styled and like I dusted off my SLR. So I styled and shot one room at a time in my house. Like that is how bootstraps it was for me. And I learned how to build a website on YouTube. I learned how to build my own logo using Adobe Illustrator that I had learned in one of the courses at ISCD. And I was 80% done with my website and a real estate agent knocked on my door, as they do, because they noticed when renovations take place. He wanted to give me a evaluation on my home. So I said, yep, come through. And within 5 minutes of him being here, he asked me point blank who had designed my home. And for the first time, mind you, I was still making my website on YouTube and, DIYing it. But for the first time, I actually stood in my space and I said, I designed my home. I'm an interior designer and I'm starting my interior design business. And I guess one thing I learned at that point was never to be afraid to put it out there and to share where you are at, because you never know who's on the other end. And he basically came back and said, can you come to my house next week? Can you meet my wife and my kids? Your style would be so perfect for our home. And so 2 bathrooms became 3 bathrooms, an understall storage area for his wine, a walk-in robe, wardrobes, a laundry. And I guess when you do one job really well, one job becomes 2, it becomes 3. And my business has slowly and organically grown through word of mouth. So that sums up my journey into interior design. I thought I'd also share with you specifically the programs and technical skills that I learned at ISCD and how I have implemented them in my business. So Charlotte, if we go to the next slide. This slide just walks you through the flow of documentation that takes place in my studio. So this is a case study. It was a 3-bedroom apartment on Trelawney Street that was completed last year. I use the Adobe suite of programs in my business, and I use InDesign for all of my presentations, because I think it just gives a really professional layout, and I've got all my templates set up already. So this is basically how I use it always for all of my presentations. And I use SketchUp a lot as well. I really believe that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And with clients, they often cannot translate a 2D plan or even an elevation. They cannot imagine it proportionately or standing in the space. And so I use SketchUp quite a bit. At the start, a concept, I'll just do it in black and white, but then I'll render it as we move down the track in our design with the materiality. And then I use AutoCAD a lot for my plans, my elevations, dimensioning, for electrical plans, basically the full documentation suite that goes to the builder for them to quote on, and for basically to become a blueprint to actually create the design and construct it. That's all done in AutoCAD. And it's really interesting that Charlotte mentioned Programmer. So I've been using Programmer also for the past 18 months. That's another important program I use. And so it's great that ISCD will be teaching that to you. I use it for all of my specifications. So for all like fixtures and fittings, I use it for my materials specifications, lighting, and it's great because I also can include pricing in there, and the clients can approve and reject or provide comments in real time. And it's just very professional because all the trades can go to this one central link and see what has been specified for the job. And so the documentation and all the technical skills that I learned at ISCD, it gave me really great technical grounding to do this, but then to actually translate a design into reality, you need to be able to communicate it. And so these skills, these drawings are then given to the builder, and he's now able to use them, read off them, and create something in real life. So if we go to the next slide, you can see the before images of this project on the left. And so it was a really rundown apartment. Nothing had been done for, I think, 60 years. And we were able to, it was a full gut and refit of the whole job. These are just a select few photos. But you can see how the vision does not get translated into reality if you cannot document it, because that's what you need in this industry for a builder to then make it into reality. And that's what you get at ISCD. Actually, before we move on to the next slide, one other thing I wanted to touch upon is it's also really important to execution is equally important, and that only comes with practice on the job and being able to manage builders, manage trades, communicate with your client. All of those things take practice, and I'm still learning. But yeah, that's all the exciting things that you can look forward to later down the track. Okay, so I thought I'd share a day in my life. Let me start by saying I'm a working mum. I have an 8-year-old son, Benji, and I have designed my business around the priorities in my life, which are my family. And because of that, I have to be incredibly organized because I don't get to work in a typical 9-to-5 day. I get pockets of time that I have to work furiously in. So I start my day really early. This is tomorrow. Like I schedule my week so that the Thursday and Fridays of the week are for all of my site meetings and my presentations where I'm on the go. And the beginning of the week is when I do more of the design work, working on my business and admin. So tomorrow, I'll wake up early, get the house ready, pack lunches. I drop my son off at school at 8 o'clock, and I'll be heading to my first job at Ocean Street. This is a townhouse that we handed over very recently. And so my job in the post handover part is basically to prepare the defects checklist. So that will be walking through the site with my client and documenting all the things that may not be working perfectly. For example, if a tap is leaking or if a drawer is sticky, these are the things that I document down, and it goes to the builder for him to follow up. And then we'll discuss photo shoot prep, because I would love to get this styled and shot and put on my website. I'll then head over to Piermont for my next job, which is on Tambua Street. This is a 3-bedroom apartment, a full gut and refit, and we are currently at the stage of sheeting. So all the walls and the ceilings are now going in, and we are working towards a pre-Christmas completion date for that one. I'll probably have lunch on the go, and then I will finish at my old South Head Road job. This is in Wallara. I live in Sydney. And this photo is quite old, but we're now actually at the stage of pouring the suspended concrete slabs. They've got another slab that's going on top, where the garden will be. And I would say this is the biggest job I have done to date. And my client is actually a former associate from when I was in the corporate world. And the builder on this job is the builder of my house. So I really feel like all the spheres in my life are blending. I feel like I've come full circle. And yeah, it's fantastic. And then 3 o'clock onwards, I have my mummy hat back on. I dash back home. I fill the car with snacks and my son's soccer gear, and we will be off to soccer practice. And then there's, homework, dinner, bath, all the stuff that you do when you've got a family. And then at 8 p.m. or 8:30, whenever my son goes to bed, I'm often just back online to reply to emails and just to get myself mentally prepared for the next day. So it is chaotic. It is full on, but I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I have ultimate flexibility. I get to do something I really love, but also my family doesn't suffer at the same time. So it's great. And I thought I'd just wrap up with a few lessons that I've learned in the very short time I have been in interior design. The first would be to know your why. I guess because this is a second career, I really had to dig deep to find out what my why was and what my purpose was behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I really believe through thoughtful design, you can improve the quality of life of your clients. And when you know your why, when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like you have to work, you get to work. It's an absolute privilege. And it helps you also when you're tired and when you encounter problems, which you inevitably will. Be authentic. Yes, bring your values that you have at home with your family to your job. You'll be surprised just how far that takes you in this industry. Ask questions, never stop learning, 100%. We are all constant learners, and I find that in the building industry, things are always changing, whether it be regulations, whether it be new products that are being offered in the market. For example, now we have no engineered stone with silica, right? So that's something that I had to quickly get on top of when I was advising my clients about benchtop materials. So I would say, attend lots of supplier events, listen to podcasts. I'm always asking my builder and my joiner all sorts of technical questions, and I don't think there's any stupid question because I'm learning every single time, and each time I'm getting better, and I learn and then I apply what I've learned to my next job. Invest in yourself. So the best decision I made was investing in my education at ISCD. That gave me the technical foundation and the confidence to go out and be an interior designer myself. And then once I started my business, I invested in a business coach, and he really helped me get my business underway and to give me that confidence in being a business owner. What's next, Charlotte? Be confident. Yes, you know more than you think. You're going to school, you've gotten an education, you know more than what your clients know, and that is why they're paying you to do their renovation or to give you advice on their homes. Be honest and real with clients. I would say that is particularly important when it comes to budget and timeline. There is no point in designing like the Taj Mahal of design that you think will be in a magazine if you know that the client can't afford it. And that also goes back to being authentic. It goes back to having integrity. It's a really sure and fast way to lose your client's trust. So yeah, I would say being honest and real. It comes with, I think, it requires courage as well, but your clients will absolutely appreciate that. Yep, no experience is ever wasted. We all come from different backgrounds, and I came from a corporate background, and I always thought, what am I going to use for my corporate background in interior design? There is no overlap. But in fact, I've actually found it the opposite. Your skills in communication, for me, it was my finance skills, which have helped with budgeting for projects, stakeholder engagement, working with people. I would say even being a mum and life experience is so useful, particularly when you're designing for families with young children. There's no one better than yourself to advise people on the practicality of materials when you have children that are being potty trained or, so don't underestimate your experience. And I'd say finally, don't compare your beginning with someone else's middle. Just run your own race. And I know it's really hard with social media. It's all smoke and mirrors on social media anyway. But as long as you're improving every day, and that is things like asking questions, never stopping learning, investing in yourself, I think you're well on your way to having a successful and really authentic career in interior design. So thanks, everyone. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions at the end of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. That was amazing. What an amazing presentation. I think a lot of us learned so much about your journey. I'm just going to stop sharing as my lovely internet is having a little bit of trouble. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your journey as an interior designer, and those tips, especially at the end, were really insightful. This is recorded, by the way, everyone. So if you wanted to watch it again to digest all this really interesting material, then yeah, you can do so. So last but not least, we do have a couple more things I wanted to say before we finish up. So first of all is that if you are really convinced that this is the right step for you and you really want to take it on board and start the journey, you can apply here through our website. Thanks, Lee. iscd.edu.au, or you can scan the QR code there. It's an online application form, and all we need is just some photo ID and also your design ethos statement. Okay, thanks, Lee. So if you have any questions or you'd like any more information about today, or if you have any burning desire to speak to someone about your passion and you don't know where to go, we've got the lovely Andrea here who works with us at ISCD. Here are her details to reach out. Thanks, Lee. And we are everywhere on social media, on LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, and what else? Instagram, I think I said, yes. And you can also join our mailing list, actually, and that will have some announcements. It has a really good newsletter once a month called Design Fix, and there'll be lots of really good updates on master talks and such. So it's about the time now that we're going to go to question time. So we're going to invite the lovely Lee and Stephanie back on to take those questions. So you can ask a question that's more about the industry to Stephanie, and any questions more to do with the courses you can ask myself or Lee. So I'll get Stephanie and Lee to come back on. Thanks, ladies. How did the chat go today, Lee? Is it busy?
Yeah, we had quite a few questions, a couple of them directed to hosts and panelists, which is totally fine. We've got them all collected anyway. That's all good. But yeah, I guess we'll start with maybe just a question for Steph before moving on to a couple of questions for you, Charlotte. just about, you know, the course and a few nitty-gritty things about that. And we'll go back and forth between Steph and Charlotte about course nitty-gritty and then Steph's experience a bit. So Steph, yeah, I guess one of the things that we would like to know, and this question comes to us from Melissa, one of our live chatters. She's asking, do you have any connection or support with your past ISCD educators now that you're in the industry?
I do. I actually connect with Michael Alsop. He was one of my educators. And it's great that he's now, I feel like he was my educator and now he's a peer, definitely like a more senior peer. But, you know, I've asked him a few times questions, like on the job questions. And because he's a real live designer, he gives me really applicable advice and really relevant advice. And it's just been fantastic because we've been able to develop a community, you know, and it's, yeah, so absolutely, I do.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Awesome.
So he's seen you, you know, through the course and continues to be a mentor, I guess, doesn't he, in the industry for you?
We follow each other and we comment on each other's Instagram posts and stories. It's beautiful.
Is there any
Amazing.
competition a little bit? No, now that you're in the industry, a bit of competition? Nah. It's a happy family. Okay, great. Nice.
And we've got a question from Ankita for you, Steph. She asks, is it fine to connect with you? And how can I connect with you, Steph? I guess she'd like to reach out to you.
Yeah, you can connect with me via my website, which will the students be given, or will people be given a link, or I can tell everyone.
I can do that.
Yeah, look,
I can do that.
we can pop. Oh yeah, do you want to, Charlotte? Yeah, in the live chat.
I
That's
can do that.
fine. Are you okay with us sharing your Instagram on there as well? Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you look up Stephanie
Perfect.
Tuin, that's my website and that's my Instagram. And if you want to contact me via email, it's Steph, STEPH, at stephanietwointeriors.com. More than happy to answer your questions and yeah, help you feel a bit more comfortable about taking that next step.
Course, or have you frozen?
You've frozen.
I've frozen. Sorry, guys. I might have to
She's
Frozen.
stop my camera.
Oh, it looks like I'm frozen too. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. What's happening? All right.
I don't know.
I'm just putting Stephanie's email in there. Sorry, Lee. Carry on.
Yeah, no worries. Well, we have a question from Evelyn, and she's asking about the micro-credential program. And she's asking if Photoshop and InDesign are included in the cost of the micro-credential program.
That's a good question. It's not included in the micro credential, but it is included in the diploma and Cert 4. So what I recommend with those who want to do the micro credential is just to download or subscribe to the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite just for a month or two, because it's only a 9-week course. I think it's about $30 a month, and I can send you the link where you can subscribe. So give me a sec. I can do that for you now. Alrighty.
Perfect. Steph, another
Great.
question for you. From Kelly. Thank you for your question, Kelly. She says, hi, Steph. Would you take on a student to help you in your business to give them some experience? Are you up for taking
That's a
anyone?
good question.
I would consider it, absolutely. To be honest with you, I have someone that works for me, and she reached out to me and it was the best thing, you know, it was the best thing. We connected really well and she's become my documenter. So absolutely, I'd be open to people reaching out, and I'm willing to help other people in the industry. It's so hard to get work experience, you know, and it's so important. So to get that like leg up the rung, it's, yeah, absolutely. Happy for you to email, reach out in another way.
Is it hard to get experience because there are a lot of people, you know, like yourself that have started like as a small business, and there's just not the capacity or the time to sort of take someone on? Is it like that?
Well, I would say yes. I think it's easier to get for me, I found it was easier just to create my own experience. On my end, I felt like doing free jobs for friends and family and doing my own home and styling things on my own was easier. I did struggle when I was going out and trying to find, jobs with a lot of interior designers, because they all wanted 2 or 3 or 4 years experience. And so, yeah, I would say that was my feedback, which is why I'm so passionate about, yes, if you can give people like any experience, even if it's unpaid, that can go on your CV, and one step at a time you can build just like a portfolio. Like, I found it really hard to build a portfolio, so I would just make up sometimes pretend boards. No one's going
Oh,
to know
really?
because it's not real. And then, but you're still exercising the same skills that you're learning at ISCD to pull together a mood board, pull together materiality, draw a room that already exists, but you're actually still using those skills. And so my final project at ISCD was my home, and I drew it up, SketchUp, and used AutoCAD. I would say all of those things are still building your experience. Yeah.
It's very
Thanks,
relevant,
Steph.
and you're now using it. You've used it, and you're
And
living
no
it.
one will know, because once you've done one, you get the confidence, and one becomes 2. So it's always going from 0 to 1.
um, Steph, we have a question from Jenny. It's a really good question. I just want you to think back to your time in your course with ISCD to answer this one. Does the course cover topics of nature and using natural elements, or is it more tailored to a futuristic style in design concepts and materials?
When you say nature, you mean sustainability, or do you mean more like natural materials? Can you clarify?
Jenny, are you able to clarify if you're speaking about natural materials or sustainability just in the live chat there?
I wouldn't say, when you say futuristic, like that sounds really like futuristic in style. I wouldn't say ISCD pushes you style or aesthetic, because that's a really unique individual thing. It's more that you teach us the theory and the fundamentals, which are what build your foundation, and you take that from there. So you learn the software, you learn color theory and the color wheel. Like, what else did I learn? Yeah, you learn how to, when you think about business, it was great because you taught me how to build a logo and how to create my business card and a flyer. And then you taught me, we touched upon commercial design as well. That was great. So we got to practice designing a shop front, or an entire shop fit out. So things like that, I think you bring your own aesthetic and your own design style to it, but it equips you to then have the tools you need to do that design.
Nice. Jenny actually qualified just saying natural environment and materials.
Yeah, I would say ISCD does teach you about materials. So it gives you, you do research into the different types of materials. For example, if it's a benchtop material, you'll look into all the different products that are available on the market. So, whether it's natural stone and all the different, there's a myriad of natural stones out there. And then you'll talk about engineered stone. You can talk about porcelain and sintered stone, Corian. There's so many. Natural environment. One lady that I did the course with, she was very into sustainability and spirituality, and like your home being like a sanctuary. So she brought that kind of touch to it. She was really into yoga and all of that. So I don't really know what you mean exactly by natural environment.
I think from that you may have answered the question.
Okay.
I think we're good. You did a great job there. That's awesome.
Actually, Steph, can I ask,
Yeah.
is it really, do you have a lot of freedom in the course then to sort of explore your own style then, I guess? Like, you have the classic style behind you. So in your final project, could you do something that's sustainable if that's what you're passionate about, or could you, do,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I feel like you can, it's quite open-ended. Yeah. So if you wanted to do something that was more, so this is my style, which is why I've done it this way, but you could do it yeah, absolutely. I think it's also how much research you want to do. So if you want to push yourself, you can, as a student, you can attend all of the design fairs, all the shows, you can go to suppliers and learn about the different materials that are available. Because ISCD, yes, like it teaches you that, but it doesn't have enough time to go into detail about every single thing. So you are more than welcome to then go out and investigate and get your own samples and, and delve as far as you want to into that. So for me, ISCD taught me SketchUp and AutoCAD, but I spent hundreds of hours using it on my own home, and I directly applied it that way, and I learned about materials. But then because I was doing my own home, I went and saw every single supplier and saw all the different tiles and all the different benchtop materials and educated myself on that to make my own informed choice. And when you do your own home, I guess that also helps you advise other people because you've actually experienced it yourself.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
We have a question, maybe more for you, Charlotte, from Eden. How do lessons work when it's self-paced and online? Are they project-based or are there pre-recorded lessons to view?
Great question. Yeah, there are pre-recorded video recordings. There's some projects that you sort of have to read up on or do some research as well. But because there are no live webinars, everything's pre-recorded. So you just access the online learning platform when you have the time. We do recommend about 12 to 16 hours of time. It might take a little bit more, a little bit less, but that's generally speaking. So yeah, and it is project-based. So you'll be able to interact with the material with little tasks and activities like every week. And then there'll be an assessment in weeks 3, 6, and 9. So they're bigger projects. Okay, so hope that
And
helps.
while we have you there, Charlotte, one question that I missed a little earlier from Abba, and thank you for your question, Abba. She asks, is this only for Australia? My sister is also interested, but she is offshore.
Yeah, but look, we don't get a whole lot of international students because we don't actually offer a COE. We don't offer student visas. But in saying that, you can definitely study offshore. We've had someone from London, Japan, the Philippines. So yeah, by all means, I'll get Andrea to give you a buzz. And if you need any information on that, I guess the only thing is the time difference, but there are no live webinars, so it wouldn't be really an issue. Just if you need to contact the educator, she'll just contact you the next day, if that makes sense. Okay, so it should be fine.
Steph, Jenny is asking a second question, and it's along the lines of, I think, again, sustainability and resourcefulness, but she asks, if I was a more resourceful repurpose type person, does this course cover much on this movement of repurposing, I guess, items, as furnishings? I'm guessing, is that what you mean, Jenny? Or repurposing materials? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Is that covered, or does that come under your own, again, like what you said before, Steph, your own research and your own passion, outside of the course?
I would probably say, yeah, that's probably more outside of the course. And in my experience, it often comes down to two things. It's either your client's ethos of like trying to be sustainable, or it's budget. Like, to be honest, it's more likely budget that they would say, oh, can we repurpose something? And so sometimes it's out of necessity, but then all it is a discussion with a builder or a joiner about what can be repurposed. I wouldn't just assume it can, because sometimes removing something can actually damage it or damage other things. What I have done so far in terms of repurposing, and this is for budget reasons, is I have sort of retained the inside of cabinetry if it is still structurally sound, and I have just replaced, for example, the doors and the cupboard doors, and that instantly creates a brand new look. You would never know, right, until you open the door, but it saves a lot on cost and time. What else have I done? Repurposing. No, I would say joinery is mainly it. Yeah. Or maybe even furniture. You can move it around to a different room, you know, but I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question, Jenny.
We do cover
Um,
restoration. I'm not sure if that helps as well. I've just popped that in the chat there of the units that we cover for property restoration. Like if it's a heritage home, you want to keep the natural, the style of it, and you want to sort of maybe contemporize a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
So
Good.
Dan asked previously as well. Thank you, Charlotte, for that as well. Dan has asked, does the course teach you how to start an interior design business? I guess, Charlotte, you can pitch in and then Steph can as well. You can probably both answer this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can quickly mention that the second subject, design practice, does actually give you a little bit of a beginner sort of leap into how to do it. So a beginner guide, right? So setting up your ABN, all about ethics and compliance, marketing and branding. So that'll give you a good start. And Steph, how did you find the course in helping you to set up your business?
Yeah, I would say it does help. It gives you those first steps into starting a business. But I would say majority of the education is more focused on actually being an interior designer. And I would say this is not unlike any other university degree. For example, if you go to uni to learn to be a lawyer or to be a doctor, they teach you how to be a doctor and a lawyer. They don't teach you how to set up a law practice or set up a doctor's practice. I would say that's more of a business. That would be a business course. And so I went to uni, I actually studied commerce and finance. And that didn't teach me how to start a business either, mind you. It taught me how to like budget and know numbers and all of that.
Mm.
But I would still invest in business coaching, regardless of whatever profession you have. If you have a business, I think a business coach is really useful. Yeah.
Mm.
But yes, I would say ISCD taught me how to set up a logo. So I used Adobe Illustrator. I basically took the logo that I'd made in my course and I adjusted it when I was doing my own website. And it taught me things like how to do marketing materials, just to think about even like what was the if I had to boil down what my business stood for, like it makes you think about that. So like I design classic, timeless and luxurious interiors for people that reflect their unique personalities and lifestyles. That is what I do, and that's what I say. That's my key line, and I developed that in ISCD. So like you really have to think about what your philosophy is and what it boils down to. And so ISCD starts you on that journey to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Awesome.
brilliant. Great one.
We have one final question. And that might bring us to the end of our session today. What do you reckon, Charlotte? Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Unless there's any other burning questions, we might have time for just
This
one more,
is
but we've got 2 minutes
this is a
left, so go ahead.
This is a really great question. So Evelyn is asking you, Steph, any lessons learned on juggling full-time work with study? Such a good one.
Well, I would say having an online course is really great if you're juggling full-time work and study and being a mum. Because when you're a mum, you only have pockets of time that you can work in, and you're incredibly efficient in those pockets of time. So I would say that was really helpful. So I would do, if you're working, you probably can't do it during work hours, but you could wake up super early, maybe before the baby wakes up, and like do a 5 to 6:30 a.m. bit of work study. Then you could do it when the baby goes to bed. The other thing is being a self-starter, I would say is really important, because even when I was really tired, I would have to not force myself because I liked what I did, but instead of watching TV, you have to sit down and you have to click play and like listen to what you're being taught. But that's still easier than picking up your stuff and driving somewhere and sitting in a lecture, which doesn't always work for everyone's schedule. I would say be incredibly organized as well if you're a working mum and you're studying. So, set margin. Don't overstretch yourself, and don't, I would say for me, I time block my week. And so like every Sunday, I will put in number one, like all of my son's activities, all the family things we're doing. Then I'll put in all of my client meetings. And then in the remainder of the time, I know the pockets that I have to work in. So I would say that might help you as a working mum, like put in your like 9 to 5 day, put in all of your kids' activities, stuff you're doing with the family. And then you actually have a really good idea. Okay, am I going to get 12 to 16 hours of study in this week? If not, then maybe I need to adjust some things, you know? Yeah, that's what I would suggest. But it's all worth it. Nothing of value
Fantastic.
comes without hard work.
Yeah. Fantastic advice
Absolutely.
there. Thanks,
Yeah,
Steph.
thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Cool.
It's been a really amazing journey for me. It's been like a 10-year journey to get to this point. And it was one of the best decisions I made to actually be doing something for the first time in my life that I feel like I'm uniquely gifted to do and that I'm actually good at. You know, it's a really wonderful feeling. And when you're helping other people at the same time, it's just amazing. Yeah.
Oh, so thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. It's been so amazing to have you here. And we could talk all day, but we do need to wrap things up. So thanks, Lee, also for manning the live chat. That was great, and saving me at the end. So thanks everyone for joining us. It was great to have you, and hope you join the next one. If you have any questions, just let us know. Remember intake every Monday, and have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. See you.